Now that we were able to create, or we're done creating our database, or at least the base table of our database, it's this time to start coding our shopping cart website. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to do is we need to establish a database connection to our database. So let me just try to open it here. Okay, I'm going to use a different browser this time, 8181 web projects lessons. Okay, let me just try to go back to page exercises. This one, shopping cart. Okay, so let's try this time to create our very first file, which is this one. Okay, I'm going to right click on my desktop or on my window. Then I'm going to create a file. I'm going to change its file name to connect.php. So basically, connect.php will enable us to connect to our database. So you will be asked if you change a file name extension, it might become unusable. If you want to change it, just click yes. Okay, so let's now start coding this time. What I can basically do is I can just okay, I'm just going to drag it inwards. Okay. Let me just try to copy first. Okay. So let's try to name this one as file name connect.php. Okay. Let's try to define our variables. Host name, username, password, database, and okay, let's try to create our identifier. Con equals to mysqli connect. Try to add the following values or variables: host name, then we have your username, password, then database. Okay, now notice by the way that we still need to fill up the values. Okay, so for host name, say to put local host. For username, let's try to put root because that's the default username. For password, again, if we're just using XAMPP, we can just try to leave it as is. Try to leave it blank because by default it doesn't have any password. So for database, let's try. We will be using, of course, the one that we just created. It's shopping cart. Okay. Then let's try this time if we have successfully connected. If not equals to con, okay, echo unable to connect to database, okay, strong, okay, try to specify it here, our database, then echo mysqli connect error. Okay, so this will be our connection string. This file will contain our connection string to our database. So the next thing that we are going to create, now since what we have created this file, connect, let's try to create our template. Okay. So let's try to call this one as our header.php. Okay. Try to copy paste since it's still blank. Then we have our footer. Now let's try to copy again our header file. Okay. Let me just try to show you later once we're done. Why is it that I'm using this particular method? So, because actually it's a lot easier. Okay, so no, we don't need PHP yet. I can but just try to use it later. Okay, so we have here, try to put HTML, then we have their head, First title. Okay, for the title, try to call this one a shopping cart. Okay, then we have last our body. Now, let's try this time to include our bootstrap. So we have your first thing that you need to do is you need to first create a connection to our bootstrap CSS. So link rel style sheet type text CSS href. Okay, so where can we find, let me just try to add it here first so that it will be easier for me. Add. Okay, select folder. Okay, so notice by the way that we have here bootstrap. So for that's going to contain our bootstrap. Okay, then css dot bootstrap dot css. Okay, now let's try to copy. Let me just try to get a copy of bootstrap. Okay, this is actually the previous exercise. So I just basically copied, or maybe this is what you can do. Um, on our browser, basically what you can do is, let me just try to, you can just download it off this website. Okay, so just getting start bootstrap, then just click download. Okay, so you will be downloading. Okay, let me just try to give you another example. So let's try to download first. Okay, so I already have it here. Bootstrap dash 15.1.3.dist. Okay, let me just try to copy first this file. Let me just try to close. Then let's try to go back here. Now let me paste. Then what I'll be doing is I'm just going to extract the files here. So you have your bootstrap extracted. Okay, so I'm going to copy these two files, the JavaScript and the CSS file, CSS folder. Just going to paste outside. Let me just try to delete. Okay, I've already deleted. So to go back to our editor. Okay, so we have your bootstrap slash css slash bootstrap. So css, okay, explore here. Okay, so these are all the different, we will actually be using this one. Okay, next thing that we are going to add to our files is, of course, our JavaScript. So script language JavaScript source source is bootstrap JS script. Okay, so you already have it here. Now I reloaded the page and we have the following. So we have your connect footer. Okay, I cannot seem to find my shopping cart. Wait, lessons. Okay. Let me just open this one first. Web projects lesson shopping cart, but I cannot seem to find my header. Okay, it's okay. So to go back to footer. Um, okay, so we have our body. Try to close our body and our HTML. Okay. So next thing that we need to do is let's try to create this time our index. So let's try to use our Notepad++ is time to create a file. So click File, New. Okay, we can just save, or we can just, press Control A, then save, or we can just click File, then Save As. Okay, let's try to call this one as index.php. Okay, so already have our index.php. Okay, so let's try to code again. Include header.php and include also footer.php. Okay, so I have to go back to our browser to check. Okay, so we have successfully created our index.php. So I took right click here and view page source. So we have it here with us already. So that's how we would actually create a template in PHP. Okay, so basically what we just did was just try to create a header and footer file. So let's try to create another file. Let's try to call this one as our registration file. Save as registration.php. Okay, so again, all we have to do is just copy and paste it here. Then that's it. Okay, so we have our template. So whatever changes we are going to do on our header as well as our footer will reflect on the files that uh, have included both our header and our footer. So it's actually easier for us to make the changes. Okay, so since you only need to uh, edit a single file, then the rest of the files that have included their header and our footer will also change.